Hey there, Melanie again from Partners in Fire, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to get started with financial independence. That's right, this whole video is on financial freedom for beginners like you. In our last video, we gave an intro to the FIRE movement and all the different types of FIRE that you can pursue. Make sure you check that out if you haven't yet so that you know what we're talking about and which FIRE is right for you. Today, we're going to talk about getting started with financial independence. It doesn't matter how old you are or what job you currently have or your current financial situation. Everyone starts somewhere, okay? And you're starting today, and that's great. That's wonderful. Don't let your current situation get you down or make you think that FIRE is unattainable. It's not. It might be harder for some people, and the road might be longer, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. I believe that financial freedom is achievable for every single person if you follow the right building blocks. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You've probably seen the famous gurus tell you that there's an easy path to financial freedom for everyone, right? You just have to follow their 7-step plan or 10-step plan or 12-step plan, and you too can achieve financial freedom. The problem with these plans is that they're not realistic. Every single person has a different starting point, and different end goals, and different circumstances, different obstacles. Although these plans are good starting points and they might help give you some great ideas, they don't work for everyone. They don't allow any variations. Some folks end up feeling like failures because they can't seem to escape debt, while others have so many freaking bills that they can't save anything extra. Obtaining financial freedom is not a one-size-fits-all plan. So because of that, we've developed a new way to think about achieving financial freedom, and that's with building blocks. There are 5 building blocks to financial freedom. 1, creating a financial plan. 2, building a budget. 3, saving. 4, investing. And 5, paying off debt. We're going to talk about each of these building blocks one by one and talk about how they interconnect and interrelate. Block 1, your financial plan. A financial plan is a document where you map out all of your life goals and your financial goals, and you build out actionable steps to achieve those goals. In order to make your plan, you need to write down your current status, write your debts, write your income, your monthly bills, your assets, everything out. Next, you need to write out your financial goals. This is where you want to be in the future. Maybe you want to get to Coast FIRE in your retirement account, or maybe you want to be debt-free. Write down the exact numbers that you need to achieve these goals as well. Finally, you need to determine the actionable steps you can take to achieve your goals. Maybe you can cut some expenses or pick up a side hustle or things like that. Your financial plan is your guide for you. It's going to help you visualize where you are, what you want, and how to get there. So once you have that down, it's time to take action with step 2, building a budget. So I know budgeting is not exciting, it's not glamorous, and it can be downright boring. But it needs to be done. You need to start taking control of your money and telling it where to go. The basic premise of a budget is to control your money rather than letting your money control you. We're going to have a video soon about how to build a budget, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. But in the meantime, we're going to give you the quick down and dirty. And also there's some links to some of my friends' blog posts that have really epic tips on building a budget, so you can check those out as well. But the down and dirty of it is to write out all of your monthly expenses and then write your income out. Find out where your money is going. Now this includes everything, right? It includes the 50-cent candy bar that you bought at the gas station. It includes every time you stopped at Starbucks and bought a latte. It includes the video rentals and the streaming services and the book you bought and the new clothes you purchased. Every single thing you buy needs to go in your budget. That needs to be accounted for. Every dime, every freaking penny needs to be accounted for, okay? Once you get all of this stuff written down, look at what you're spending money on. Figure out where your money is going and decide whether your spending is in line with your priorities. If it is, great, you're on track, good. But if it's not, make adjustments to get there. And that, my friends, brings us to the 3rd building block, saving money. Hopefully you start to realize why these are blocks and not steps. Saving money goes hand in hand with budgeting, right? You're budgeting to see if there's places where you can cut costs. Hopefully you've identified a few places in your budget where you are spending too much money and can cut back. There are so many different ways to cut costs and save money, and we're not going to go into all of that right now. It's for a different time. But I do have a lot of content on Partners in Fire, the blog. I'll drop some of the links in this video. You can also use a money-saving app like Trim to help you cut your expenses. There's so many options for you. And like I said, we're not going to go into that, but check out Partners in Fire, the blog, for a lot of tips for you. Once you've saved money on your expenses, you can start literally saving money in your bank account. See how they go hand in hand? Budgeting to save money, saving money in your bank account. Interconnected. This is an incredibly important part of this building block, right? Saving money is not just about cutting costs. It's about putting money away, getting that money in that piggy bank, in that savings account. The first thing that you need to do, and this is the only one where I'm going to have, this is step one, this is a step, not a building block, is you need to create an emergency fund, and you need to get about $1,000 into that fund. Emergencies happen. They happen to all of us. It's a car repair, you hit a nail, your pet needs to go to the vet, your air conditioner went out for some reason. It happens, right? All the time to all of us. Having an emergency fund will help us deal with those expenses so that we can focus on the other building blocks. So step one, only step, get $1,000 into that emergency fund, and then we can interconnect the rest of the building blocks. Now we're on to block 4, which is investing. Although you should be funding your short-term wants and needs in a savings account, it's not going to be enough money for long-term goals. The interest on savings accounts has been at historical lows for as long as I can even remember. Long gone are the days of earning even 5% interest on checking and savings accounts. And to be honest, I'm not sure they're ever coming back. So because of this, the best way to beat inflation and ensure that you are financially prepared for any eventuality is to invest your money. So I prefer low-cost index funds because they offer automatic diversification and they don't take too much of your hard-earned money away in fees. Vanguard's low-cost index funds are only a 0.04% management fee. That is one of the best that you can get on the market. And it's invested in a ton of different stocks. So if one company goes belly up, the entire fund isn't going to go belly up. And I think that's important to diversify that and lower your risk. Remember, though, that there's always risk in anything, even index funds. So make sure that you can handle some risk before you start investing. And there are also numerous other ways to invest. You can invest in almost anything, right? You can purchase individual stocks, real estate, commodities. You can invest in yourself by starting a side hustle or going to college. The best thing to do is to diversify your investment portfolio to include a mix of different asset types. That's why I do like index funds, though, because it's automatically that diversity, but it's generally just in company stocks. But to me, it's fine. And that leads us to our final building block of financial freedom, and that's paying off debt. Debt is like this ball and chain that you just carry around with you, right? It holds you back from pursuing new opportunities because you constantly have to focus on paying what you owe. So the first thing you should do is focus on paying off your high interest rate debt. Mostly those are credit cards and things like that, if you can. Put those cards away and just promise yourself that you will not use them unless there's an absolute emergency. But that's what your emergency fund is for, so you shouldn't have to use it then either, right? Right. Next, focus on your student loan debt. And I understand that student loan debt is a huge freaking burden to a generation of people. Unfortunately, right now, it doesn't look like that's going to change, so you have to do what you have to do and start paying it off. Apply for loan forgiveness if you can, and just pay as much as you can each month. And then finally, just try to avoid getting into more debt. Save up for the new car and drive the beater for a little while longer. Work to build good credit before applying for a mortgage so you have the lower rates available. Avoid buying a house altogether if home ownership isn't one of your life goals. It's not for everyone, and that's fine. If it is one of your life goals, save as much as you can for a down payment and get good credits before applying for a loan. Homeownership isn't for everyone. If you don't want it, don't let what society thinks push you into such a huge financial decision. It's perfectly okay to rent. But if you do want it, save up a decent down payment first and get good credit so that you can lower your monthly interest payment. I think that for people who really want to own a home, mortgage debt is probably the best debt to have, because it's almost impossible. Let's face it. In this day and age, it's basically impossible to buy a house without a mortgage, without getting into debt. But if you can pay off all of your other debts first and only have to worry about that, then you're going to be in a good shape. All right, the big question people ask. This is the big one. This is the important part. You probably already heard about saving money and investing and paying off debt. You know all these things, right? But the real question, the real focus is, what do I do first? Right? And this is why I think the experts are wrong. There are so many people that tell you you have to do this in a certain order. But it's so hard to say what's most important, right? The only thing that I agree with the experts on is that $1,000 in emergency savings, because A, it doesn't take that long to get, and B, it will really, really help you, all right? But after that, a lot of people will tell you that you should prioritize paying off debt, that you should not invest until you have debt paid off. Get rid of your high interest credit card debt before saving any more than your $1,000. And I disagree with that. I think it's wrong. If you're $30,000 or $40,000 in debt, it is going to take you a long time to pay that off, right? No matter what you do, no matter how much money you put forward to it, it's going to take a while. It can take years. And those are years where you will be missing out on compound interest and investment gains. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to spend your 20s paying off debt and not investing. If you start growing your money in your 20s, you're going to be a millionaire by the time you retire. Why would you give that up? Why wouldn't you do that? So therefore, and this is why I call them building blocks, and this is why they're all interconnected, you need to do all three. Yeah, all three. All three at the same time. Let's say you have $100 at the end of each month after making a minimum payments on all of your debts and after investing in your retirement account, which I think is really important because even in your 20s, if you start now, like I'm at Coast Fire, I'm not even 40 yet, I'm at Coast Fire. You can do that too if you start early. So invest in your retirement account, get that match. You will never see better returns than your 5% company match. I guarantee it. Do it. So anyway, let's say after all that, you have $100 left. What do you do with that $100? Do you just put it all towards your debt? Do you invest it? Do you save it? What do you do? Like I said, first, $1,000 in your savings account. That's it. But afterwards, why not split it up, right? Right? Split it up between savings and paying off debt and investing in your non-retirement investment accounts. And since you already have $1,000 in your emergency savings, I mean, you can put the smallest amount there. Maybe you want to put $20 in there and then $40 towards your debt and $40 towards your investments. That's fair. Sometimes I put as little as $10 a month in my emergency savings. That's okay. A little growth is still growth, right? It's still something. And the way you split it up, it doesn't even have to be even, right? You can split it up based on your financial goals. If your goal is to improve your credit score so you can buy a house, you should focus more on paying off debt, right? But if your goal is to quit your job as soon as possible, then maybe you should focus more on investing that money. And this is why the first building block, a financial plan, is so crucial. Your plan will help you determine where that majority of your extra money should go. No internet guru will know you and your individual situation. So stop taking advice that's meant to be a catch-all, right? You need to build a plan that represents you and what you want and what you need. Now, a caveat to that, if you do need individual help, you can always see a financial advisor. Make sure that the person you hire is a fee-based person and that they don't make money by selling you high-fee investment products. Dave Ramsey. Anyway, I know what you're asking. I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have any extra money? What if there is no $100 at the end of the tunnel? Well, if after making your financial plan and going through your budget, you realize that there's nothing left over, there's nothing left to cut, don't despair. You still have options, okay? You're going to have to find a way to make more money. Whether that be get a promotion at your regular job or pick up a side hustle or something like that. We're going to cover a lot of different ways to make more money in future videos, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep watching. And I hope you enjoyed this and get started on your FIRE plan today. You can do it. You can make a financial plan and you can get going today. So let's do it. Let's reach financial independence together.